How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy With It. I'm Will, and today we're going to open up one of the Marvel Champion scenario packs, the Wrecking Crew. Now, the Wrecking Crew is a scenario pack, and of course, belongs in part of Marvel Champions. Yeah, Fantasy Flight games, 14 and up, 1 to 4 players, 45 to 90 minutes. Now, the main thing with Marvel Champions, the Wrecking Crew, is that instead of you going against a single enemy, you're going to be going against the entire Wrecking Crew. If you're curious about what these little plastic things are in here, they do not come as part of the set. These are the dividers that I printed from Divider Central. You can go back and look at my core box unboxing where I discuss how I created these dividers. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the decks and see how this scenario works. So of course you do get your player's guide. So you'll see that you will be facing against all 4 of the Wrecking Crew at the same time. They each have their own hit points. They each have their own scenario deck. There is a single master scheme that will be played against you as well. So me and Audrey will be playing this on an upcoming stream, so make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification to know when we go live. We'll go ahead and start with this first half here. So here is the main scheme. The main scheme is Breakout. So you basically put in each of the wreckers, as I mentioned, each of their encounter cards, put the Day of Reckoning, Thunderstruck, Piledriver 1, and Clear the Side Road into play, which are your additional side schemes, and then you flip over, of course, to the main scheme. So the main scheme, force response after step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 threat on each side scheme. Move the active counter to the villain whose side scheme has the most threat. So that's one of the key differences. In order for you to know who goes first, which villain's going to, I shouldn't say who goes first, but which villain's going to be attacking you, it is based on who has the most scheme. And then there are cards that will be in each of the Wreckers decks that can increase the scheme, move the scheme around. So it adds a lot of variability to the way the game is played. Now the first villain is Piledriver. He has a scheme of 2, attack of 2. He retaliates for 1, so not very good for your allies or even yourself when you're attacking him. You're always going to be taking 1 damage. And when he schemes, you place the threat on his side scheme instead of the main scheme. Now they do have a side A and a, well, I was going to say a side A and a side B, but they have an A and a B. I don't know why they didn't just put it on the opposite side like they normally do, but okay. But they do have an A and a B. The B version is just a little bit tougher, as you can tell. He has 2 schemes still, but he does go up to 3 attack. His hit points goes from 11 per player to 14 per player. So this one, unlike the regular ones, you don't get a expert mode. You basically get a heroic mode where you're playing them all on B, or you can play 1 on B, 2 on B, and just keep gradually increasing the difficulty. This is actually considered one of the easier scenarios to go through. So if you're looking for a scenario to add on to your core box, maybe you're having a little bit of trouble with the core box, maybe pick up this as a scenario to get yourself some more experience. So let's go on with Piledriver. Piledriver 1 side scheme. Piledriver side scheme cannot lead play while he is in play. So once you knock him out, of course, then it can lead play. Force response, if there's no threat is placed here, after threat is placed here, if it's 10 or more, each player discards the upgrade or support they control with the highest cost, remove all but 3 threat. So basically, having him out, he's going to keep destroying your upgrades for your characters, and there's nothing on the back of that. All right. So his cards, he has Distracting Taunt. He gets 3 additional hit points. Players cannot attack other villains, so that's not very good. Response, after you attacks, he spends 2 attack resources to discard this card. So that you can discard it, it's just going to be a little bit to get rid of it. Held Hostage. Attached to the active villain side scheme. Threat cannot be removed from the attached scheme by thwarting. Wow, that's not very good. The villain corresponding to the attached scheme attacks you, then discard this card. I'm wondering how you get rid of... You can't thwart to get rid of the... Oh, I guess you can't do it on a thwart, but you can use a card that has a thwart action. Okay. Corrupt Prison Guard is a minion. He has the guard, which means, of course, you cannot beat up on the bad guy until he is defeated. Escaped Convict, 1/1, kind of weak, but he does have Surge, So he causes a surge and then boost. Move the active counter to the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. If you are in hero form, that villain attacks you after this attack. That attack does not get a boost card. Okay, so the villain would attack you once, and then this boost, right? So you do get that minimal damage. But then when he pulls the second card, it's not going to have or he's going to attack a second time without the boost, basically. Buddy system, when revealed, choose the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Reveal the top card of his deck. Top 2 cards instead if he's the only villain in play. And then boost. So each move the active counter to the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. So here we go. This is what we're talking about how it can move the scheme around or move the active villain around. This one wrecked if you're alter ego, the villain side scheme has the most threat. If you are a hero, the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. So that's who is going to be attacked. Alter ego, the villain whose side scheme has the most threat. Schemes, okay. So most threat schemes, alter ego, least threat attacks. Okay. I've been waiting for this. When revealed, the active villain gains 3 hit points. Give that villain a tough status card, which is never good. And then he does have a boost. There's a lot of boost in this deck. Move the active counter to the villain with the least threat. Oversized hands. Discard the support you control with the highest cost. If no support is discarded, place 2 threat on the scheme. Boost, discard a support you control. So a lot of discarding of your supports, your equipment. Not a very friendly guy. Treachery. When revealed, you are confused. Again, not good. If you're already confused, he schemes. Boost, give the active villain a tough status card. If they already have a tough status card, place 2 threat on their scheme. Pummel, alter ego, Piledriver schemes again. When Piledriver is tough, he gets +2 scheme for his activation. Wow. If you're hero form, he attacks you, and he gets 2 additional attack on this activation. Uncanny Resilience, just bouncing off of him, you know. When revealed, remove each stunned and confused status card for each villain. Wow, it's like a replenish. It's like a, you know, a healing or a dispel card, you know, if you were playing a magic type game. If no status cards were removed, it gains surge. And of course, the boost, he confuses you. All right, the second villain is a Bulldozer. He is a member of the Wrecking Crew, of course. When Bulldozer schemes, place the threat on his side scheme instead of the main scheme, which makes sense. They're all going to do that. Forced to interrupt when Bulldozer attacks, the attack gains overkill. So that is not good. So even if you block, you send somebody out as a sacrifice, one of your allies, he's still going to be able to take them out. He's got 1 and 3, and then he upgrades to 2 and 3, and his hit points go from 12 to 15. His side scheme is Clear the Road. Bulldozer's side scheme, the card cannot leave play while Bulldozer is in play. Same as all of them. His ability is Charge, Force Response. After a threat is placed here, if there's 10 or more threat, each player must discard the top 10 cards of their deck. Remove all but 3. So that's kind of the remove all but 3 is the same, and everything here, 2 or more. Typo, or more. So basically that can be bad because you run out of your deck, then they get to take an extra encounter card. So his first thing is an upgrade. It's an attachment. He gets +1 attack. It's armor. After Bulldozer attacks, discard 1 card from your top of your deck. So it seems like Bulldozer does a lot of discarding. Hero action, exhaust your hero and discard 1 card at random to be able to discard that. So you have to exhaust and discard. So you're either going to discard anyways, you're going to discard to get rid of them and not be able to attack the next turn. Held hostage, attached to the active villain's side scheme. Threat cannot be moved. Okay, so that's the same as the other one. Ramming speed. I saw this. I'm like, this is Colossus almost. This is how a Colossus head. Like his head does not match like the normal look. Like the arch just looks funny. See, this is more cylinder, and this is more flat. Like I said, Colossus. Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut. There's other words, but I'm not going to say it. Watch the X-Men movie. But he does get +2 attack. Bulldozer attacks. You must defend against Bulldozer with an ally you control, if able. And then after Bulldozer attacks, you discard this card. So the nice thing, of course, is that you can block, but because he has the ability to go through your ally, you're not only losing an ally, you're probably going to take some additional damage too because of the +2 to his attack. Corrupt Guard has no scheme, but he attacks for 2. He has that guard ability, so therefore you cannot attack anybody. Escape Convict is the same. Buddy System we saw. Bull Rush. When revealed, if you're an alter ego, Bulldozer Schemes, discard the top card of your deck for each threat placed by this activation. Wow. Reveal, Bulldozer attacks you, discard the top card of your deck for each damage done to you. Okay, yeah, so he's definitely going to make you mill your deck out, which causes those additional encounter cards to hit you. Chaos in the Prison. When revealed, choose either to discard an upgrade you control or place 1 threat on the active villain's side scheme for each upgrade you control. If you do not control any upgrades, this gains Surge. Okie dokie. And then Boost. If this attack is undefended, discard the upgrade you control. Okay, so if you don't defend, if this comes out as a boost, you're losing your upgrade. Get Wrecked. Villain's whose side scheme has the most threat. I think these are the same. Yeah, so Get Wrecked was in there. Headbutt is different. This is his. When revealed, discard 1 card at random from your hand. If you're in a hero form, take damage equal to that card's printed cost. Wow. If you're in alter ego form, place threat on his scheme equal to that cost. No bueno. Leading a charge, when revealed, discard the top X cards of your deck where X is Bulldozer's attack. Place 1 threat on Bulldozer's side scheme for each different card discarded that way. Holy cow, man. Yeah, that is not going to be fun to play against. Having to deal with all of his discarding abilities, and then I probably just shuffled all those together, so I'm going to have to sort those out later. Either way, yeah, having to go through all of his discard abilities, in my opinion, is not going to be fun. But we'll see. Maybe it's easy to knock him out. How much hit points did he have? I think he had 22 in a 2-player game. So Wrecker is the next one. So he's schemed to attack 2, hit points 28. When Wrecker schemes, place threat on his, of course. When Wrecker is attacking, it gets +2 attack if it is undefended. Oh, wow. So basically his attack is either 2 defending or 4 undefended. His heroic side, or the more difficult, is 3/3, so both go up on him. And then his hit points goes to 18 from the 14. All right. His side scheme, so basically he cannot lead play, same as the other ones. For him, it's hard hitter. Force response, if the threat is placed here, is 10. Deal 2 damage to each friendly character. Wow. And then you remove all but 3. Yeah, not good. There we go. Held hostage is the same. He does have his magic crowbar, which gives him +1. After Wrecker attacks, place 1 threat on the side scheme with the least threat. Hero action, exhaust your hero and discard 1 card at random. So discard to get rid of it as well. And your exhaust, so very similar to a Bulldozer. Wrecker's command gives +1 to scheme. That's different. I don't know if any of the others had scheme. After Wrecker schemes, place 1 threat on each villain's, on each side scheme. Oh, wow, that is nasty. And then you have to spend 2 of the fighty, attack, strength, whatever those energies are, those cost. Resources. 0 scheme to attack, right? So he's a guard, so same thing as the other one. Escape Convict is the same. Buddy System is the same. Chaos is the same. Crowbar Toss is new. Revealing Wrecker schemes, then move the active villain counter to the villain whose side scheme is the least. So Alter Ego Wrecker attacks you, move the active villain counter to the villain with the least. So same as the other ones, he's either going to attack or scheme, and then it moves to the least. So Get Wrecked we've saw. I've been waiting for this. The active villain heals 3 hit points. Wow, okay. Give that villain a tough status card. And then the boost allows him to move the active counter to the villain with the least threat, and he schemes. Mystical Link, all the boys are back in town. Place 2 threat on each scheme. Not good. Boost, Wrecker gets +3 attack for this activation unless you add 2 schemes to his scheme. Your Dead Meat, when revealed, deal 1 damage to the hero or ally with the fewest remaining hit points. If the character is defeated this way, place 3 threat on. Wow. So if you have any low hit point allies out there, they're just asking for it with Wrecker. All right, and then the last one is Thunderball. Last but not least, 3 scheme, only 1 attack. That seems kind of low. When Thunderball schemes, place the threat on his side scheme instead of the main, so that's the same. After Thunderball attacks you, deal 1 damage to each of your... Okay, so that's why. He only attacks for 1, but then he actually does damage to each character you control. You know, he takes that chain around, swinging around, and just go whack, 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 right? 13 hit points, that's 23 in our 2-player game. In the heroic or hard mode, you get 3 and 2, so it goes up by 1 on his attack, and then his hit points go up by 3. For Thunderstruck, which is his side scheme, on his side scheme, same thing, can't leave until he is gone. Gamma Blast, force response, after threat is placed here, if there's 10 or more, stun each character. Wow, okay, so he stuns everybody. You get a stun, you get a stun, everybody gets a stun. He's like the Oprah Winfrey of stuns. So he's got 1 additional attack by his attachment. Force response, after he attacks, place a threat on the main scheme. Hero action, exhaust your hero to discard it. So again, another one you have to exhaust to discard. Held hostage, which really feels like his card, right? Radioactive buildup, there we go. Plus 3 more damage. Attached to Thunderball. Excess damage dealt to Thunderball is placed as threat to his corresponding side scheme. So if this is still on him when you knock him out, it's like he says, radioactive buildup. It's like he explodes and he adds additional threat. And then after Thunderball attacks, discard this card. So actually, it wouldn't be bad if you get it near the beginning, because this one goes ahead and goes away as soon as he attacks. Whereas if you got this later in the game where he's about to be knocked out, you kind of have a double negative going on. You're probably low on hit points, and he's now going to add more threat. So these are all duplicates. Here we go. Energy projectiles. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each friendly character you control. So there you go, you're losing your allies again. And this kind of coincides with his other ability, where if you knock him out, right? And then deal 1 damage to defending character is the boost. Really trying to figure that one out. So you're going to deal 1 damage to the defending character, but you still are attacking. So I don't know where that other damage goes. Get wrecked. So yeah, we already had this one, get wrecked. I've been waiting for this. Here we go. So lightning blast, this should be his last treasure. No, there's 2 more. Okay, 2 more. The lightning blast, when revealed, place 3 set on the side scheme with the most threat. Thunderball attacks you. If this attack is undefended, place 3 threat on his. All right. So very similar to most of the other ones, except for in his case, both are going to be scheming. Usually it's either scheme and attack or an attack and attack. In this case, it's scheme and more scheme. And then the last one is tactical prowess. When revealed, move all threat from the side scheme with the least threat to the side scheme with the most threat. If that scheme's forced responsibility is not triggered this way, the card gains surge. Wow. So even if you don't make the actual scheme's ability hit, you're going to get a surge and possibly get, say, another one of the tactical prowess. So there we go, guys. That is all of the characters, all of the decks from the Wrecking Crew expansion. So if you would like to see how this deck is played against 2 of our decks, we are going to be playing Captain Marvel and Thor against the Wrecking Crew this Thursday live on YouTube. We do, of course, have the schedule now so you guys can see them, hit the little reminder thing. Either way, hit the subscribe, bell notification, leave some comments down below with your thoughts on this expansion. Until next time, guys. Peace.